Some nights don't end when the sun comes up. Some nights follow you for the rest of your life. That night was quiet, too quiet, no storm, no warning, just the soft hum of the refrigerator and the ticking clock on the wall. 3:17 a.m. My phone was still in my hand. His last message glowed on the screen. I'll be back soon. Don't wait up. I waited anyway. He never came back. My name is Emily Carter, and I grew up in a small town in Ohio where people wave at strangers and leave porch lights on for neighbors. Nothing bad ever happens there, or at least that's what we like to believe. I believed it too, until the night my husband vanished and took my old life with him. Daniel and I had been married for 7 years. Not perfect years, but honest ones. He worked long hours as a construction supervisor. He was quiet, steady, the kind of man who fixed things instead of talking about them. We talked about having kids, someday. We talked about buying a bigger house. We talked about growing old together. We never talked about goodbye. That night, he left work later than usual. He texted once, then nothing. By midnight, I felt uneasy. By 2 a.m., I was pacing the living room. By 4 a.m., my hands were shaking as I called the police. They asked the questions everyone asks. Did he seem stressed? Any financial problems? Any chance he left on his own? Each question felt like an accusation. Daniel wouldn't leave. He wouldn't disappear. He loved me. I was sure of it. The first 48 hours were a blur of flashing lights and polite sympathy. Search teams walked the woods. Dogs sniffed the ground. Flyers went up on telephone poles. News vans parked outside our house like we were suddenly a headline instead of people. Local man missing under mysterious circumstances. His truck was found abandoned near the highway. Keys inside. Wallet untouched. No blood. No phone. Just silence. The police said it could be voluntary. That word hurt the most. Voluntary. Like he chose to vanish. Like he chose a life without me. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. My mother stopped asking how I was because she already knew. Friends called less and less, unsure of what to say. At night, I slept on the couch because our bed felt too big, too empty, like it was waiting for someone who wasn't coming home. I replayed every conversation in my head. Every look, every moment I might have missed something. A year later, a judge declared Daniel legally dead. I screamed in the parking lot after the hearing. Not because I believed it, but because the world had decided to move on without him. Without us. I didn't move on. I just learned how to survive. Then, 3 years after he disappeared, a plain envelope arrived in the mail. No return address. No explanation. Inside was a photograph. Daniel, older, thinner, standing on a beach in California, sunlight in his eyes. Next to him was a little girl, maybe 6 years old, holding his hand. I couldn't breathe. On the back of the photo, written in shaky ink, were the words. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you. For 3 years, I blamed myself. And he had been alive the entire time. I flew to California 2 days later. The town in the photo was small, quiet, almost forgotten. A place where people went to disappear. I asked around, showed the picture to shop owners and waitresses. Most shook their heads. One old man at a diner stared too long. He goes by another name now, he said quietly. I found him near the pier at sunset. For a moment, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. He looked different, beard, deeper lines in his face, eyes that carried too much weight. But it was him. I knew it the way you know your own heartbeat. He saw me, and he broke. He didn't run. He didn't deny it. He just sat down on the bench and cried like a man who had been holding his breath for years. The truth came out slowly. That night, Daniel had witnessed something he wasn't supposed to see. An illegal deal. A man killed. Powerful people involved. When the police realized Daniel could identify them, they gave him a choice: disappear or put everyone he loved in danger. Witness protection. A new name. A new life. No contact. No explanations. And the little girl? I asked, my voice barely holding together. She's the daughter of the man who was killed, he said. No one else was left. I couldn't walk away. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit him. I wanted to collapse into his arms. Instead, I just sat there, feeling something inside me finally crack open. You let me think you were dead, I said. Tears ran down his face. I let you live, he replied. We talked for hours. About everything and nothing. About the life we lost and the lives we were forced into. There was no reunion hug. No happy ending moment. Some love doesn't survive the truth. It just transforms into something quieter, sadder, permanent. When I left California, I didn't look back. I sold the house in Ohio. I started over somewhere new. Not because I wanted to forget, but because I needed to breathe again. People ask me now, did he ever come back? I tell them this: he didn't disappear. He sacrificed himself to protect someone else. And the night he vanished changed everything. Not because he left, but because it showed me how heavy love can be when it's carried alone. Leaving California didn't bring me peace. I thought distance would make the pain smaller, but it didn't. It just made it quieter. Silence can be dangerous that way. It gives your thoughts too much room to grow. Every mile between me and Daniel felt like a question without an answer. I moved to a small apartment in Colorado. New city, new job, new routine. People around me didn't know my story, and I liked it that way. I became the woman who smiled politely, showed up on time, and never talked about her past. At night, though, the memories came back. His voice, his hands, the life we were supposed to have. Sometimes I wondered if what I saw in California was real or just my mind creating closure because I needed it so badly. But then I would remember the way he looked at me. You can't fake that kind of guilt. You can't pretend to carry that much weight. Months passed. Then one morning, I received another letter. Same plain envelope, same handwriting. This time, there was no photo. Just words. I hope you're okay. I think about you every day. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that leaving you was the hardest thing I've ever done. Protecting others doesn't erase the damage it causes. I live with that. I read it over and over until the paper felt soft in my hands. Part of me wanted to tear it up. Another part wanted to write back immediately. I didn't do either. I wasn't ready to open a door that might never close again. Therapy helped more than I expected. Saying his name out loud to a stranger felt strange at first, but slowly, the pieces inside me started to shift. I wasn't crazy for feeling angry and loving him at the same time. I wasn't weak for missing someone who hurt me. Loss isn't simple. Love doesn't disappear just because the story changes. One evening, about a year after California, I saw a news article online. A major criminal case had finally gone to trial. The faces were blurred, but I recognized the names. The people Daniel had testified against. They were convicted. Long sentences. The threat was finally gone. That night, I cried harder than I had in years. Not because justice was served, but because the sacrifice finally made sense to the world. He hadn't disappeared for nothing. The truth had weight now. It mattered. A few weeks later, my phone rang. I almost didn't answer. It was Daniel. His voice sounded older, steadier, less afraid. They said I'm free, he told me. I can choose now. I closed my eyes. Choice. That was the word that haunted me. He asked if we could meet again. No expectations. No pressure. Just talk. I told him I needed time. He said he understood. I believed him. We met 6 months later in a neutral place. A small town in Utah. No memories attached. No history on the walls. When I saw him walk into the cafe, I noticed something different. He wasn't carrying the same fear. He looked like a man who had finally stopped running. We talked for hours. About who we had become. About the years we lost. About the things we could never get back. He told me about the girl. She had been adopted by a good family. She was safe. Loved. He smiled when he talked about her, and I realized that part of my pain had saved a life. That doesn't make it easier. But it makes it meaningful. He asked me a question I knew was coming. Is there any chance we could try again? I didn't answer right away. Some love stories don't get second chapters. They end because they have to. Not because the love is gone, but because the people are no longer the same. I told him the truth. I don't hate you, I said. But I don't know if I can be your wife again. That version of me stayed in Ohio. He nodded. No anger. No argument. I just needed to know, he said. We hugged before leaving. A real hug this time. Not desperate. Not broken. Just human. I watched him walk away, and for the first time, I didn't feel like I was losing him. I felt like I was finally letting go of the pain. Today, my life is quieter. I teach. I write. I volunteer at a local support center for families of missing persons. I tell them something I wish someone had told me earlier. Sometimes the truth doesn't bring happiness. Sometimes it brings understanding, and that has to be enough. I still think about Daniel. I always will. He was a chapter of my life that shaped who I am. But he is no longer my future. And that's okay. The night he vanished changed everything. It taught me that people can disappear without wanting to be forgotten. That love can exist alongside betrayal. And that healing doesn't mean going back, it means moving forward without carrying the weight alone. If you're listening to this and you're waiting for someone who never came back, know this, your life is still yours. Their absence does not define your ending. Mine didn't. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Real Life USA Stories. Your support helps us bring you more real-life emotional stories. Thank you so much for watching.